Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Lewis, along with the mountain bike editor of Bicycling Magazine, Tim Blumenthal. Welcome to the 5th stop on the World Cup of Mountain Bike Racing from Hunter Mountain, New York, the first American stop this year. Although, Tim, the conditions are really very reminiscent of Europe.
Well, Greg, we've had 3.5 inches of rain here in the last 24 hours, and that probably suits Thomas Frischknecht of Switzerland, the cyclocross specialist, very well. He won 2 of the 4 stops in Europe. The other 2 were won by the American John Tomac. He probably doesn't mind these conditions either. On the women's side, well, it's no longer an all-American show. The Europeans have really come on strong. So I look for a fairly even battle between 5 or 6 racers.
John, of course, rides for Nike, Raleigh, and Tioga. He's got a multiple sponsorship. He was a national BMX champion. He's now been a national road champion.
The Mountain Bike World Cup is brought to you by GT Bicycles, innovation that works. And by Fuji Bicycles, precision, performance, pride. There's no feeling like a Fuji.
It's a scene that's reminiscent of the World Championships. As a cycling commentator, I get to watch a lot of great racing, so I know how important good training is. Hi, I'm Tim Blumenthal, editor of Bicycling Magazine. Now you can learn the secrets to riding faster and farther with this free book, Bicycling's Fitness Training Manual. The tips in this 52-page guide will help you boost your speed, build stamina, and have more fun on your bike. Tips like the single best way to increase your speed, how to build endurance, 25 tips to improve your riding. The book is yours free just for trying Bicycling, the world's #1 cycling magazine. Every issue of Bicycling gives you expert tips to help you ride better, train smarter, and feel stronger. Plus, our annual buyer's guide gives you the inside scoop on the year's hottest new bikes.
Call 1-800-227-7200 to get 7 issues of Bicycling and a free training manual with your paid subscription.
Take a ride with Bicycling. Order your free training manual and no-risk trial subscription now.
Now a look at the women's favorites. This is Ruthie Mathis, the defending world champion of mountain bike racing. And, of course, an old rival, the World Cup champion, Sarah Ballantyne. Big Red, they call her. Julie Furtado, she won the NORBA championship. 3 American women against a tough European field. Here's Eva Orbasova of Czechoslovakia, a former road racer, along with Sylvia First, age 30, from Switzerland. And this young woman, Chantal Dacourt, we've not seen much from this year. Another Swiss.
But the overall leader in the World Cup Series, Susie Buchwieser of Germany, is not here at Hunter Mountain. The standings show the international flavor of women's mountain bike racing. The 2 Americans are down low, 3rd and 4th overall.
The women's race underway, 3 laps, 21 miles total, 1,000 feet of climbing per lap, and a third of the course is single track as they shoot out to try to take an early lead. And you can see right now the mud, the slime, the horrid conditions that this racing will be run in. Actually, the women were scheduled for 4 laps. It was cut back 1, just as the men have been cut back from 5 to 4.
And adding to the challenge, temperatures in the low 80s and on the way up. Plus, it's humid. It's going to be a rough day.
The world champion, Ruthie Mathis, sets the early pace. Chantal Dacourt right beside her. Mathis off her bike, and she has said that her strengths really are her fitness and not her technical skills. Here's Dacourt of Switzerland, and she is even pushing up now. This course, the single track and the conditions have made for a lot of pushing, it appears.
Well, this is the first lap, Greg. Early on the first lap,
reigning European and Swiss champion was 3rd in the preceding World Cup in Klosters, Switzerland. She is on her way up, literally. And now on her way down. Chantal Dacourt, and again, the conditions so demanding.
And Chantal Dacourt, 1 foot out of the pedals. It shows how tough the conditions are. That's Sylvia First, Julie Furtado, Ruthie Mathis, Susan DiMattei, Eva Orsova, and Tommy Jock behind, all bunched very close.
And Chantal Dacourt still dominating this race course as we conclude lap 1. And behind her, you cannot tell it's the rainbow jersey. It is a mud-splattered Ruthie Mathis.
This is a fine descender, if she can see. And last year, she surprised the world by winning the World Championship in Italy on a very tough course, a climbing course. It's a little bit different conditions here today at Hunter Mountain.
Julie Furtado, 51 seconds back. And you can see the concentration that is her trademark.
And you can also see how her back wheel is slipping in these abysmal conditions. You have to have a light touch on the handlebar.
Docor back on her way up, off the bike, and now back on in the most impossible of conditions.
46 seconds behind the chase group led by Julie Furtado, looking for her first World Cup win. She's wearing the Jeep National Championship jersey in a series that's being held concurrently with the World Cup.
Ruthie Mathis not able to make the climb on her bike. These two are old rivals. Furtado, the 90 World Championships gold medalist, as we now look at Docor, and Mathis from 1990 in the World Championships was the bronze medalist.
And here on the second lap in second place, Furtado, she much prefers the dry, dusty courses of the West. That's where she won the World Championship, the inaugural World Championship back in 1990.
Furtado, known as a risk taker, 30 seconds behind the Swiss Docor. The word on Furtado is if she doesn't have a bruise or a piece of skin missing, she's not happy. Ruthie Mathis, of course, another road star, 1990 U.S. National Road Champion, trying to make the transition to this, which looks a little bit to me like Paris-Roubaix on a tilt with grease all over it.
This is amazing to even be able to stay on a bike after so much rain high here in the Catskill Mountains. It's very difficult to steer.
Chantal Docor, though, as we said earlier, third in the preceding World Cup. Look at her as she handles her bike so beautifully, coming through this greasy descent. Furtado charging even harder, though, now just 11 seconds back. She has cut her margin in half.
And as a former downhill ski racer, she's very good on descents, and it's all a matter of confidence and abandon. And Ruthie Mathis, too, another former ski racer, very good through this narrow technical section.
Sarah Ballantyne, known as Big Red, more for her talent than her size. And we go back to Chantal Docor, who is on the third and final 7-mile lap and is pushing the bike again.
Now the challenge for Docor is to monitor her pace and try to get a lead built by the top of the climb, because the descent is going to favor Furtado. She's a great descender.
Furtado has already dropped another 5 seconds, though, on this climb. She's managing to stay on the bike. The roar of the river. And now Furtado finally yields to the slope and must push herself.
And mud plays all kinds of problems, not just for steering, but also with your brake pads. It wears down your brake pads and makes it impossible to stop.
Sarah Ballantyne, 2:18 back. Ruthie Mathis behind her. They will have difficulty challenging the leader, Chantal Docor.
And now let's see how Docor responds to the intimidation factor behind Julie Furtado, winner of 7 international races last year.
This is Mathis and Ballantyne, third and fourth, pursuing Furtado. Tim, who really doesn't like these sorts of conditions.
Well, she's been consistent all spring, Greg, but no victory yet. And this kind of course is not really to her liking. She likes the dry and fast, super downhill courses of the West.
Well, the mud-splattered jersey of Sarah Ballantyne tells us that this is anything but dry and fast. As we watch Docor, this is wet and slow and dangerous, perilous.
And behind the ultimate all-star team in women's mountain bike racing, turned into also ran Sarah Ballantyne, and behind Julie Furtado, she's bonked.
Mountain bike racing, a contrast of pain and pleasure, because out in front is Chantal Docor, her first victory on the World Cup.
Make the right
right move. Make Bay Cable Advertising your season ticket to rising sales by advertising on ESPN and TNT NFL game days. Call BCA now to secure a starting spot with popular NFL action. Choose a few games of the entire season. Either way, you score big. And with BCA, you can target a specific audience or the entire Bay region, and all for much less than you might think. So get off the sidelines and get in the game. Call Bay Cable Advertising today to play in the NFL on ESPN and TNT.
Against time. 23 days of two-wheel torture. The Tour de France, the most challenging bicycle race in the world. A 2,000-mile race that can be won or lost in less than a second. Don't miss a moment of ESPN's unprecedented coverage. Beginning Saturday, July 4th on ESPN. In the race against time, every second counts.
In muddy Hunter Mountain, New York, a happy Swiss Chantal Daucourt, her first victory on the World Cup. We look at Sarah Ballantyne, and this is the story of this race. Mud and danger and effort beyond belief.
Greg, she's completely lost her brakes and has no choice but to walk.
Ruthie Mathis, who more than 2 minutes back behind Daucourt, is second. It is her second place finish of the season. She has one victory. The standings, though, Sarah Ballantyne and Julie Furtado not even in the top 5. Now let's go to Peter Graves and our winner. Peter?
What did the mud feel like to you, and did you spend a lot of time off the bike?
No, I was feeling good in the mud and just handling the bike pretty good, and I was surprised. I'm not so good usually in the mud.
A dramatic change in the World Cup standings. Bookvieser and Seedorf dropped to 6th and 7th. Mathis takes over the lead. Furtado 2nd, Sylvia 1st in 3rd.
And in the Jeep National Championship Series standings, it's Susan DiMattei, the leader, with consistent finishes. Julie Furtado 2nd, Lisa Muick of Barracuda team 3rd.
Julie Furtado, a desperate 14 minutes back after having been at one point only 11 seconds behind. There they are, the champions of the day. Chantal Daucourt, her first time atop the podium.
And so we've seen one Swiss victory in the women's race, and now another Swiss, Thomas Frischknecht, will fight against the American Ned Overend of Team Specialized in a star-studded men's field. Darryl Price, he leads the Jeep National Championship Series, looking for a World Cup win.
The telltale sign of John Tomac, #1, the world champion. Well, in '91, it seemed the champion of everything. And the World Cup standings, Tomac #1 again. But Thomas Frischknecht of Switzerland has been challenging him and is particularly strong in the conditions we have at Hunter Mountain, New York. Again, the men have been cut back from 5 to 4 laps. We see Rishi Grewal in his typical style shooting out to the lead. Grewal likes to be in front when they get to the single track. This has been his form in all the races this season.
We saw what happened in the women's race when they got up onto the first climb. Riders were already off their bike. Now, a little bit later in the day, the conditions are a little bit drier, and Rishi Grewal has opened a big lead.
What has happened to Grewal, though? He has not raced as well this season as he did last.
Well, he suffered all through Europe with illness, had trouble breathing, and now he's back in the United States, though I can't say this is precisely the kind of condition that he prefers. It's something out in the west, and riders going down, the course is washed out almost completely on the sides.
Thomas Frischknecht, the cyclocross amateur champion, and he has the #2, which tells the story of his rivalry, Rishi Grewal, his rivalry with John Tomac. Last 2 years, Frischknecht has finished 2nd in the World Championships.
And we see completely different styles. Tomac just pushing his bike, Grewal was riding, Frischknecht shouldering his.
John Tomac from Durango, Colorado now. You're used to seeing the pictures of him with the cowboy hat on. He has become the rodeo rider of the Mountain Bike World Cup.
He's right behind you.
And now onto the descent. Thomas Frischknecht out in the lead, using his superior cyclocross and running skills to open up maybe a 200-meter advantage.
John Tomac 12 seconds back, but of course a great descender. We'll watch him make the curve. Rishi Grewal in third. Grewal not in the top 10 in the World Cup standings this year. He predicted some time ago that the Americans could not continue to dominate the sport. So many good Europeans coming. But look, Grewal has taken over the lead on the descent from Thomas Frischknecht and John Tomac, who had led him up.
And Don Myra, the former U.S. cyclocross champion, has moved into second place. Frischknecht in third, and that's Gerhard Zdrobalek of Austria in fourth. Frischknecht, he's great running, he's a great climber, maybe not quite so smooth on the descents, not as good as Tomac.
The cyclocross stars side by side in the mud. Darrell Price leads a group. And Price, the winner of the Big Bear NORBA event. This is Rishi Grewal in the lead. Word is that John Tomac has flatted. And, of course, it takes about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes to change a flat tire. So he has dropped well behind the leader, Grewal. The question now, can Grewal sustain this? He has not been able to hold on to his lead in other events. Here's Tomac on a mad descent. He is 2:28 back.
We've seen this before. Tomac, the flamboyant one, heading back towards the lead. Maybe he underestimated the course.
Oh, it's not so much running. It's not like that, really. You can ride most of this, and it'll be a good course. It'll just make it more extreme on every aspect.
John Tomac, almost casual about the word extreme, which Gerhard Zdrobalek, an Austrian, probably doesn't even know in English, but is certainly feeling as we look at Thomas Frischknecht. And Frischknecht, last year, his season interrupted by mandatory army duty. This year, full concentration for the Swiss on the Mountain Bike World Cup. Many people say he's a star of the future. He has the perfect body to be a racer. Don Myra, another cyclocross star, though, is out in the lead.
And it's very tightly bunched now, with Frischknecht just behind, Zdrobalek pushing maybe at 4 or 5 miles per hour. That's how slow this course is at this point. This is very tough because your heart rate is near its peak. You have to monitor your body very closely.
And then have the concentration to make these descents. Don Myra. Frischknecht. And how does the mud affect the braking? Not just the sliding, but the actual functioning of the brakes.
Well, it plays havoc with it, and it's possible that by the end of the race, these racers will have no brakes left whatsoever and will be forced to just get off, as Sarah Ballantyne did, and that's Zdrobalek. His problem right now is he can't see. He takes his sunglasses off.
The world champion John Tomac in power mode to try to catch up. He has closed the gap by 26 seconds, but does he have enough time to catch Don Myra? We'll be back.
Introducing United Airlines' renowned international service to cities throughout Latin America. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
Once you experience the thrill of riding a Fuji bike down a long, steep hillside, you'll find it hard to resist going up again. See the affordable Fuji thrill at your authorized Fuji dealer.
All-Pro quarterback Dan Marino.
When the game is over and the pain starts, I want 2 things from my pain-relieving rub: fast relief and no odor. So I use Sports Cream, a strong pain-relieving rub that doesn't make me smell like a medicine chest. I just massage in Sports Cream for fast, odor-free relief. Cream or lotion, Sports Cream sure gets my vote for fast relief and no odor.
Back at Hunter Mountain in the mud, it is Tomas Frischknecht, the leader in this 5th stop on the Mountain Bike World Cup. Don Myra, another cyclocross champion, but from the U.S., is just behind.
And in 3rd place, it's the Austrian Gerhard Zadrobalek. He made a transition, a switch from road racing a couple years ago and led the World Cup for much of last year. He's a minute 27 down, but not gaining any time.
The way he's fixed his jaw there, it doesn't look like he's having any fun in this race. The 91 World Championships, Zadrobalek took a bad crash in training and was in a neck brace. And so he knows the risks of a fall. Certainly a fall is possible when the course is like this.
And up ahead, the leaders, Thomas Frischknecht and Don Myra. Frischknecht, we've seen him there in every World Cup stop. Myra, well, this is really a first appearance for him near the front. You know, 4 years ago, he was one of the top mountain bike racers in the world, but he had serious equipment problems. It plagued him for 2 years. Now he's back as Gerhard Zadrobalek looms in 3rd place, nearly 2 minutes behind.
Thomas Frischknecht on one of the few dry sections of this course. 4 laps, 7 miles each, so a 28-mile total. This is Michael Closure of Vail, Colorado, who has come on strong. Closure has really distinguished himself by winning the Iditarod bike race in Alaska and proving how willful he is.
Well, Frischknecht is a leader, but boy, he doesn't look too good right now. Myra, a different approach, staying on his bike. In theory, you'd say that Frischknecht would have the advantage, but he doesn't have any animation.
Michael Closure now has moved into 3rd in front of Gerhard Zadrobalek. This could be Closure's best finish of the season.
And Frischknecht, who just crashed in the single track, he's forced to run with his bike because he can no longer grip the handlebar. Myra stays right on his tail. 2 very different techniques.
Michael Closure on his bike in the single track descent, but 224 back. Seems unlikely he can challenge for the victory.
And Don Myra, he's moved completely into the lead, opened a gap of maybe 50 yards on Thomas Frischknecht. And now he has to muster his concentration, and it is disconcerting to have that water in the background because you can't hear your heartbeat and you can't concentrate.
Michael Closure has come a little bit closer, now 231 behind. David Wiens becoming a factor in this race.
Well, Wiens has been nowhere so far in this series. He suffered terribly in Europe, and he's now looking for World Cup points as the series moves towards the west.
Zadrobalek faltering, almost 5 minutes behind. Wiens, a bronze medalist in the Grundig World Cup last year.
And that's the last thing that Mike Closure feels like carrying now is 24 pounds worth of bike. Just doesn't sit well on your shoulder.
And about 5 pounds of mud. The leader, Don Myra, having the best race of the season. David Wiens makes his hike up, and the bike weighing heavily on his back. Traction so difficult with the best hiking shoes, let alone the kind of shoes that these athletes are wearing.
And this is Don Myra, and what he's been all day is steady. While every other competitor has had problems, Myra has been perfect.
Thomas Frischknecht, 37 seconds behind. He has known second place too many times in his career.
It's net over end. He's well back, 15th place.
And this reveals the changing face of mountain bike racing. Over end, 5-time NORBA champion, a man who used to dominate the sport, and now he is trailing. Much more depth in the field. Over end, well behind, but in front, the end is over for Don Myra, his first victory in seasons.
to working out, Bud Light invites you to get ready for the ultimate workout. The Bud Light Triathlon Series.
You can taste it, feel it, know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light.
Just try it.
Wednesday night, see Detroit's king of swing. The mighty Cecil Fielder belts him out for the Tigers against Wade Boggs and the Red Sox. Live at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball.
The Mountain Bike World Cup has been brought to you by Jeep Eagle, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, and by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
Back in Hunter Mountain, New York, the mud-splattered face of the champion here. It is Don Myra, his first international victory in 2 seasons. Coming in second, Tomas Frischknecht, who is quite angry with this race. Let's go to Peter Graves.
All right, early this year, we've had a lot of different riders on the victory stand. What does this victory do for you?
Well, it just gives me the confidence I needed. You know, earlier in the season, I had a few problems. I got sick, and I had a flat, and wasn't able to finish a race. And this gives me that confidence that I really needed to keep going. And I think you'll see a lot more of me.
Also a confidence builder for this American from Colorado, Mike Closier in third. His best showing in quite some time. The Americans dominating this event, 5 in the top 6. Tomas Frischknecht, the only European to upset a true sweep.
That's wonderful to be Grundig world champion right now, and I was coming to this race to hold my 2nd place, and I'm really surprised. I never thought about going for the jersey.
And until today, John Tomac had been perfect in the World Cup, no worse than 2nd in 4 starts. Today he didn't finish. Thomas Frischknecht moves into the overall lead. And in the Jeep National Championship Series, Darrell Price continues as the overall leader. Ned Overend and Travis Brown are tied for 2nd.
So the big winners from Hunter Mountain, New York, the first American stop on the Mountain Bike World Cup, are Myra and Dakhor. Or Tim Blumenthal, should I say it was the rain? It really seemed to prevail here. When is this all going to change? When are we going to get out to the dry slopes and the old stars, Overend, Furtado, for example?
Well, Greg, the top traditional American stars like Overend and Sarah Ballantyne are longing for a return to the dry, dusty conditions of the Rocky Mountains. But alas, we still have 2 more races in the East, and that could mean a lot more mud.
Well, 9 stops overall on this year's World Cup. The West is coming up, and things are bound to change when we head that way. For Tim Blumenthal, I'm Greg Lewis. Goodbye from this stop on the Mountain Bike World Cup, Hunter Mountain, New York. Bicycling returns to ESPN with our Olympic cycling preview, an in-depth look at U.S. medal hopefuls on both road and velodrome. We'll also look at the international class of the field in a year when great changes are taking place in Olympic cycling. That comes your way on July 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Then be sure to catch the action from the very technical course at Mount Snow, Vermont, the next American stop on the Mountain Bike World Cup. That comes your way on August 5th at 5 p.m.